Hey, hey. What's happening, good people? What is happening, good people? I'm reading my messages. Yeah, I just want to come on with my boy here and clown a little bit tonight. Have a little fun. You happy, ain't you? Look at you. Look at him.
I ain't never heard this song. I ain't never heard this track before. It's nice.
It's nice. Anyway, what up, Wig? I see Wig joining us here. I see my little brother, Ryan Martell. What up, Ryan? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're here to talk tonight, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
We're here to talk tonight. We're here to talk about some other things. Look at my god sister, Shar Wells here. Chris Flip, what up? Oh, Chris, you can chime in on this. Chris can chime. First of all, y'all got to forgive me for my guess. He is the most ignorant guy in the world. What's up, Miss Tamara McGee? Chris Flip, you can chime in on this. Brother David E. Glenn, guitarist extraordinaire. Hey, man, don't drink water live on the air, man.
I'm thirsty.
Yes, you are. Deacon and Sharon Moore, good evening and good evening. The one and only, he's here. Champion praiser, Amos Isaac. Uh-oh, I call him back. Yeah, y'all, we're here to talk and have a great discussion. Huh? What
la,
you say?
la 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 la.
You say you already have us a ringtone? You know that's already copyrighted, right?
And I said, I got that as my ringtone, too.
Oh, that's my ringtone, yeah. Hey, man, a minute ago, we were doing our test, and I was having you fix your camera because you had too much. You're right. Now you sitting up. Right, exactly. You sitting up all like this in the camera. You too excited. Darren Frazier, what's happening? Bert Coleman, my boy. Bert.
What's up, Bert?
So we're here to talk, y'all. We're going to have a little discussion here tonight. So if you all know any pastor's children, this is the time to share with them. Tag them right now because we're going to have some good conversation. Steve, give us your background, man. First, introduce yourself and give us a background, about your father, how long, pastoring, all of that type of stuff. What church?
Yeah,
stop
I'm Stephen Gabriel.
Stop rocking to the beat, too, man.
What?
Make this as professional as you can. Stop rocking to the beat.
I can't help it. It's groovy, baby. It's groovy.
Let's go. Dwayne Boyd.
Stephen Gabriel Thompson II. PK for all my life. 41 years. My dad has been a
What
preacher.
is a PK? I'm not saying most people don't know, but some people may not know. What is a PK?
Preacher's kid.
Okay. But tonight we're specifically talking about pastor's kid.
Pastor's kid.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my dad's been a pastor. Let me say this. My dad has been my pastor for all of my life. So I've never known another pastor. So
Chris Boyd, that's right. Chris Boyd's mother is a pastor. Look at that. Kanisha Janae Henry. This is her type of conversation right here. The PK round table is here, she says. Hey, Steve, she had a whole little conference a couple of months ago, last month or so. She didn't invite us. But let's go, Steve.
Why not?
That's right. We didn't invite her either to ours tonight. I'm just playing, Kanisha. I'm just playing. Sylvester Seal, what up, man? So come on. He's been a pastor. What church? How long has he been pastoring?
Leonard Missionary Baptist Church.
On Compton
and also Compton and School. Also on the corner of Compton and Bishop Reverend Stephen G. Thompson Boulevard.
Right. My daddy don't have a street named after him. Hey, my little brother, Pastor Tyrone Roberson, pastor of Rehoboth Christian Ministries right there in the good old St. Louis. I believe they might actually be considered what? Are y'all Blackjack? But he was a pastor, son, as well. Now he's a pastor. He's taking over the church. So far, I see several pastors' children here tonight. I see Chris Boyd. I see Chris Flip.
Say, what about pastors' nephews?
Right. I see that's Seal. I see Pastor Tyrone Roberson, who was formerly a pastor's son. And then of course we see Kanisha Janae Hearing. But Larry Lee is here. Larry Lee is a pastor. Oh, Moline Acres. Okay, not Blackjack, but Larry Lee the second. His father is not district elder. That's apostolic. He is superintendent. Is he a superintendent in Church of God in Christ? Bert Coleman Jr. says, "What about the lay members? I can't be on the show." Nah, not this time, Bert. Not sons of guitar players. Not tonight. But I would be on that show too. Right. Ryan definitely counts. My brother Ryan is here. That's my real brother. So we have the same father. So we are pastors' children. So, okay. That's your you said he's been pastoring how long again? How many years?
44.
44 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got married in 77.
Pastor in the same church?
No.
Where did he pastor?
He pastored Southern Mission Missionary Baptist Church in Kinloch, Missouri.
Ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. That hit you with that first one. Okay.
Right.
Wait a minute. He pastored what? Southern Mission?
Southern Mission Missionary Baptist Church.
In Kinloch?
Yep.
Where the one and only Bishop
Yes,
John
sir.
Mitchell is pastor now?
Yes, sir.
Shedrick Mitchell's
Same.
dad. Wow.
The same, one and the same.
In the same building and everything?
No. It was on Leho first. And then they moved it over just off of, what's that? Hanley?
Dude, I never knew that you your father was former pastor of Southern Mission.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And then after that, we went on Riverview and shared a building with another church. I can't remember the name of their church, but our church was called True Believers.
True Believers.
Yeah.
All right. So was he married to your mother that whole time?
Yes.
I saw how you looked. You was like, that ain't on the paper. We didn't write that question down.
Right.
Well, my father has been pastor. BFAC, we just celebrated our 47th church anniversary, and he founded that church. But he actually technically started pastoring 2 years before that. So this is his 49th year pastoring. My daddy beat your daddy. We won.
We won.
Same church, 47 years.
What's up?
And I'm only 45 years old, so I've been there almost since the inception. Almost, just 2 years behind the inception of BFAC. Demario Richards, what up, man? What's up? So yeah, he's been pastoring the whole time. Yeah, so talk to me about your background before we get into the real deal with I'm trying to find some softer music, man. Hold on. Oh, I know what to do.
I like the other music better.
I'm producing this. You stay over there. That's what I'm doing.
Well, we are talking about me, and you don't want to talk about between me and you.
I liked your beard when it was
greater.
shorter. But that don't mean nothing.
There's nobody greater. That's why you're putting that for me, the background music for me.
Justin Gilmore, what's happening? Man, Demetrius Harris. Okay, so, yeah, 47 years from my pop. Well, 49 years technically pastoring, but 47 years pastoring this church, the church that he founded, BFAC. You know, I never really asked him the question about the first church and why only 2 years. I guess that's considered a failure, huh? He kind of failed on that one. But so talk about when you were growing up. What did you have to do? What was it like growing up as a pastor's son? Were you like a junior usher? Were you a drummer? Seems like most of us were drummers or whatever.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit of everything for real. I can't remember not doing something.
You can't help but to listen to the music. I can tell. Look at you about to smile. Look, there it is. So what did you do? You say you can't remember not doing nothing, which is a double negative, but what is it?
I was a drummer.
Same here.
Man, I think I was an usher. I was a member of the choir. I remember like being real little and singing in the tenors section, standing on the chair in the back with the tenors. Like that's what. Man. But yeah, my brother played drums too. My brother didn't start playing drums until way after, though. Why? So yeah, I started out as a drummer. Was in the choir, usher.
Okay.
Junior deaconess.
So what are you doing now? You said junior deaconess? I knew
Junior
it.
deacons.
I told you. Oh, okay. What so what are you doing now?
I'm a minister now, musician.
Ordained minister?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Musician?
No, I'm licensed. I'm licensed. Not
okay.
ordained yet.
Okay.
But media ministry. I'm the head of the media ministry and all that kind of good stuff. So,
man, you just be trying to be like me because you know I'm the minister of music. I'm licensed. I'm over the media, all of that.
This is none of the stuff that we talked about.
Miss Stephanie Thompson said, preacher kids did everything. Usher, choir, right. Sunday school, second service, all of that.
Yeah. My brother used to hate second church. Like if we had another church to go to.
Y'all call it second church?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got second church today. And because we was kids, bro. We was like, I'm talking about like 2-3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yes, dude, we got second church today. He was like,
Well, that's one thing. Everybody here that's a pastor's son, or a pastor's child knows that we don't get options where we have to go to another service. See, we used to have to go to another service after. This is usually how Sunday went. Pastor preach, you go to church. First of all, if you got in trouble, you had to sit on the front row. Did it ever happen to you before? If you got in trouble at your church?
We sat in the second row by default because my mom.
Ooh, every Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all had it kind of bad. Sunday. So we only if we got in trouble have to come sit on the front row. And don't let us fall asleep in church. We'd be the ones be made an example of.
We were saved.
They made us stand up in church. While if we were falling
asleep. Saved. You was a heathen. You were saved kids.
Oh, my camera went out of focus. Wait a minute. Catch me. Come on, camera. Where you go? Catch me. It'll catch in a minute. It's out of focus. Come on, hold up. Man, what's up with my camera? It'll catch in a minute. So, what is going on, man? It's messing me up. Hold up. Probably moving too fast with it. This camera is tripping.
Got that camera from Audi's.
Boy, I almost said something. I want to get to this conversation. That is crazy. Camera ain't been acting up all night. Focus. And I'm supposed to be the media man.
So tell us what you do at your church, too.
Okay, it'll focus after a while. Bird almost said something to you, boy. He told me to turn the lights down. That's our inside joke. He says I'm light bright. Okay, he told me to sit still. Okay, my brother. So, this is the thing. So no options. You have a second service to go to. We have to go. Everybody else can stay, go out to eat or whatever. We had to go. And a lot of times we had singing engagements. Also, where the choir would have to go sing. Well, we had to go there too because in my case, my mother was in the choir. So I had to go. Then that all dreaded Sunday night service. Man, we had to go back where some of your friends and cousins got to go home.
What's up, mama? She just joined.
Hey, Lady Thompson.
Right, say something. Say something.
Let me fix this, man.
What's up, Jennifer Nicole?
So Yeah, so that would happen. So, man, I don't want your camera looking better than mine, man. Hold up. Look at my hand is in focus real good. Come on, keep coming to me. Keep coming to me. Focus, camera. I don't know what happened to my camera all of a sudden. It was working fine.
Yes.
Anyway, it'll catch. So
you said that 2 minutes ago.
You know what? I know what to do. Watch this. Watch. Nope. So anyway, so yeah, that was one thing. That was part of that. So anyway, okay, they said they see me fine. Miss Jennifer Nicole, hey. Now your camera messing up. What you just touched?
I didn't do nothing.
Okay, let's talk about. So the reason Steve and I even came on tonight, because we had a great conversation all day today. We talked this morning, and we talked about a lot of stuff. So we were both like, hey man, let's go on tonight and let's talk about this in front of other people who is pastors' children. Let's get them to chime in, or let's talk about some of this stuff. Pastor David Hawkins, Kyle, cheers, Minister Kyle, cheers. So today we were talking about a lot of stuff. We were kind of trading stories and things that have happened to us, you know, all of that. So let's talk about some of the stuff we got that we have named here, Steve. Like what?
You want to just go one at a time?
Yes,
or you want to go just roll down the line?
First of all, Pastor David Hawkins told me to refer to him as Psalmist Hawkins.
Psalmist Hawkins.
And just for that, hold on, Steve.
Okay, here we go. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 That's it. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Boom. Like a boss. Talk to y'all later. Period. Job done. Here.
There we go. I had to play that for him. Just for him, since he wanted to bust me out here. All right.
So,
and in the meanwhile, I think I got my camera focused.
He's viral and famous.
All right. Now I got my camera focused, and now Steven jumped kind of big here. Let me see. All right. So let's go with the first thing on the list, Steve. What we got?
Dealing with our dads. Pastor versus father.
Okay, you want me to start or you gonna start?
I'll let you start.
So I think what we were talking about was differentiating between our father, the pastor, knowing when to address him as son, difference between that and addressing him as our dad or our father, right? Isn't that pretty much the gist of what we were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be tricky. That can definitely be tricky.
Hold on 1 second. Is Bishop on here?
I don't see him.
All right. I don't think so. All right, let's go.
My cousin, Kristen King Winfrey, Nakia King, cuz Jay Ford Jr., he's a pastor's son as well. So that can be tricky, especially when at church. And especially with us, we're in leadership roles now. I'm the minister of music. I'm over the media department. I do a lot at the church. So it's hard sometimes to control your emotions and your feelings. And it is very hard. That's a tightrope to walk when you get emotional about something. And sometimes we can slip up and address him as father. As one of the worst things you can do, though, is address your pastor from a son standpoint in front of everybody. We're not talking about calling him dad. I'm gonna call him daddy, pop, whatever. I don't call him pastor.
No, I get what you're saying.
But coming from that, bro, Scooter Thomas, what's happening? But just coming from that, look at my big sister Michelle Denise, coming from the role as son and almost trying to use that in church. Pastor David Hawkins is a pastor. His father was a pastor as well. He took over his dad's church. So we got a lot of pastors' kids here tonight. So yeah, man, that was always kind of rough, kind of hard. You know, one of the main things though, one of the main issues I would have, living with your pastor. My cousins, my first cousins, their sisters, they're on here right now. Nakia and Kristen. They'll tell you, my pop would get in that pulpit and use in his sermon something that you didn't want the rest of the church to know.
Yes. Preach too.
Oh man.
I got an even better one. Who would you rather get in trouble with at home? Your mom or your dad?
I would actually at home rather get in trouble with my mom.
Me too.
Most of the time.
You want to know why?
Why?
I'll tell you, my mom, now between the two, my mom was a better whooper than my dad is. But my mom, her, and I can say this now that I don't get whoopings no more. I'm grown. But my mom used to be like just swing and attack. You know what I'm saying? So it was like both of us getting the whooping. You know what I'm saying? She hit me and come back and hit herself and hit, you know, and this should be going at it. Didn't I tell you not to? It was always a conversation that I never knew the words to because she would always hit me when she would hit, you know, while she was talking. Didn't I tell
you? Let me ask you this. Is your mom on here tonight? She's on here right now, right? Yeah. Lady Thompson? Okay. So answer this question right anyway, man. Don't get soft now. Answer this question. Answer it honestly. Did your mom ever sing in the choir under you? Did she ever serve in the choir? Does she still?
Sometimes.
My mom still does. So, yeah. My rule with my mother is, my cousin Nakia will tell you, like sometimes I'll say something that may seem harsh, but of course I'm never disrespectful. Sometimes though, everybody knows that I'm a kidder. I like to joke a lot. So sometimes I'll make a joke, but I will look like I'm totally serious. And so people will stop.
My running joke with my mom is,
can I finish?
If I don't ask for no kiss, don't give me no lip.
So let me finish my story first.
I was talking first. I wasn't even finished.
I'm asking the question. Remember? I'm starting the question. So, boy, your mama's on here tonight. I can't use my famous,
your mama
joke. So in choir rehearsal, right? Choir rehearsal is from 7:30 to 9:30. And the rule is from 7:30 to 9:30, I'm not your son. I'm your minister of music. So you can't check me. You can't openly rebuke me. And, you know, that's kind of my joke, but I use it to my advantage. I've used it a lot. So, my sister's on here. She says the delay with the camera has me feeling like I'm watching a karate movie. On whose, Joy? Mine or Gabriel's? Say something, Steve. Steve, say something.
You killed my master.
Yeah, it is on yours. Are you hooked up to your Wi-Fi? No, do it for real, man, so we can see. You got to play about everything.
I'm hooked up to my Wi-Fi.
Oh, you do have a delay. Yeah, something going on where you got a delay on your vocal. Anyway, Andre Blissett, he's definitely a pastor's son as well. Okay, so Corn, what up, Corn? Steve, just sit still, man.
What up, Corn?
Sit still and hopefully your vocal will catch back up because you irking us all tonight. Pastor Hawkins said, my mom used to review the sermon. Bro, now she can't get enough. She used to review your sermon or your dad's sermon? Your sermon. Wow. So yeah, man, that was so my question to you is, how did you deal with your mother as someone who served under your leadership?
Well, I had to tell my mom is the type. So if somebody comes to my mom and says,
"Hey, do me a favor, Steve. Kind of cover your mouth a little bit like this so it don't throw us off." Do like I'm
my mom.
There you go. Oh, Pastor
My
Hawkins
mom,
sermons. I got you.
my mom usually like she'll always have a story to tell. Like, well, Stephen, the yada yada, this, that, and third, yada yada yada. And I was all like, Mom, you can't tell people everything about me because some people can't take that information, and I still have to serve, in in a capacity. And now they see me as, oh well, Stephen did such and such and such and such. Yeah, I was 6 when I did it too, but you know.
My father still loves to tell the stories about how he used to love to spank me, and he likes to tell them on the pulpit about how I acted and how I climbed the walls, and like these are not the same people he's been preaching to for 47 years, hearing the same story. Like, why do you keep telling the same story, man? Okay, what else we got on the list, Steve?
PKs are the worst.
PKs are the worst, like the worst children in church.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean,
I want my listening audience too. How do you all feel? Do you all feel that's true in your experience growing up, that preachers' kids are the worst, the pastor's kids are the worst kids in church? What you think, Steve?
I don't think that's true. I think that people hold PKs as well as preachers to an unrealistic what?
Chris Boy said you must have AT&T. I started laughing because they don't know you work for AT&T.
Hey, but real, I'm on Charter's.
Don't
Wi-Fi.
You say that on here, and you work for AT&T. Your district manager gonna see you.
For what? He probably got Charter.
Come on, man, finish, man. Pastor Hawkins said, we are not the worst. We just want our parents. Oh, that is a
yes.
So a lot of stuff we do is a cry for help, it looks like, according to Pastor Hawkins.
Also, we don't do it. We really don't do anything differently than any other kid. It's just that people hold us to an unrealistic standard.
Yep.
You're a pastor's kid, so this is you and this is us. If I'm in Sunday school and I joke around, then I could do that because I'm just a regular kid. But you like the super kid because you're a PK.
Oh yeah, that's
same kid.
You know, like how we get in trouble in a group of kids. If you get in trouble in a group of kids, at least in my experience, when you get in trouble with a group of kids, other children, we're the ones that's pointed out. Like, you should know. 2 now, come on 2. All y'all go do this. But right. 2, you should know better. And then they take us to our parents, the other kids.
Right.
Get to go on the other side of the church, you know.
Right. I mean, we did the same thing. We did the same thing. Any other kid. It was just that we were held to a different standard.
Now, my cousin Kristen said, now some of y'all are
Some
bad.
of y'all are
now,
bad.
That is actually true, because I was about to say sometimes we take license and we take advantage of being the pastor's child, and we think we can do certain things without certain people. And sometimes we don't say it. We just believe it. We think we have a certain superpower. We can do certain things. We could go hang out in the hall while the sermon going on just a little bit longer than the other child. We can get up and go to the bathroom 5 times, and everybody else can only go 2 per service. You know, we try to get away. I think we push the envelope. Some of us growing up, we try to get away with more.
Not me, because my dad would use the microphone. He would
give us an example. Give us one example, something that actually happened.
Okay. One time he thought that I was just being out in the hallway. I was actually doing my role as a junior deacon and trustee and all that kind of stuff. So after offering had taken place, I went back in the back to the counting room. We counted.
Boy, you got a big
we were counting the money. And so it ran over a little bit. And when I came out, the choir was already singing. So I'm headed out. I'm about to jump on the drums. And my dad gives me the look.
Uh-huh.
And he says, and he points to the pew and tells me, sit down. And so I sat down. I'm not thinking I'm in trouble because I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just sitting there. I'm just sitting there. I'm all like, so is this another one of those, let's make them, see how it is without drums thing? I was like, I'm totally, I'm just naive. And then I guess one of the deacons came up and he was talking to them, and they told him where I was. So after the choir finished singing, he got up, he talked over the pulpit. He was all like, "Hey, I just want to say that I misjudged, and I told my son not to get on the drum because I thought he was outside in the hall playing. He was actually in the counting room helping the deacons count the money. So I apologize." And I got like teary eyed. I was all like, oh. But it was like other times where like if we was like playing in church, he'll like over the microphone say, "Sit down." And you knew he was talking like, it wasn't a part of the sermon. You knew it. And you just sat down and you just started sweating because you knew, like at home, like this is what I was alluding to. At home, when he would whoop us, he would give us like a mini sermon. So it was like you was getting in trouble and you have a slight chance of going to hell too. So it was like my dad had 2 belts that he would whoop us with. It was a white belt with 2 prongs on it, and that one's when you was in trouble. But when you was in like he say show enough trouble, he had a brown belt that had Steve engraved in it. If he had the white belt, it was gonna be a whooping that you didn't want. But the Steve belt,
Joy, Nakia, and Kristen, what was the strap, the belt that Pop used to whoop us with? And it had he engraved. As a matter of fact, it was like a tower climbing belt. We used to have a radio tower or some type of antenna tower at our old church, and that's the belt he would strap on. You tie it to the tower, and you go up, and then you go up, and then you go up, and it keeps you on there. But it didn't say the Punisher, Mercy, or Joy. He had something engraved on it. What was the name? What was the name on that belt? See, Ryan wasn't around. God. Ryan was too young. Ryan wasn't around. What was the name on that belt? Joy, my sister Joy. What up, Pew? Mike Pew. Let me see. My sister Michelle says the pressure people put on PKs. We are human beings whose parents happen to be pastors. We go through the same woes in life that every other child / kid goes through. That's absolutely true. We just go through it with, like Steve said earlier, an unfair, what's that, magnifying glass on us. Some of us, I don't think everybody has the exact same story, but a lot of us have the same exact story. Hence why Steve and I are sitting here talking tonight, because this morning we was just trading stories like it wasn't nothing. What you got else on your list?
Sure. You ready to go with this reel?
Let's go. We talking tonight. Let's go. Come on. What is it, man?
Older women in church.
Talk about it. I don't have no experiences. Go.
Man, that ain't what you said before. when we put this, matter of fact, this was yours. This was yours on the list.
I want to say your mama so bad. But I'm scared of Lady Thompson.
You big dummy. What you talking about, Willis?
Man.
Yeah. Now, see, I put this in one of my sermons, but nobody is afraid of Lady T.
Okay.
They got the First Lady Thompson, Lady T. She's the nice, cute, older, mother in the church, First Lady T.
But come on, because that's not the question we talking about. But keep going. Go ahead.
But Merlene.
Okay.
Merlene, that's the one you scared of. You scared of Merlene from the 80s and the 90s. You still got it.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask, what age, because we just talking real tonight. I just want to be real so that other people out here know what we have gone through and what we go through and what happens. What's the earliest age you can remember where a woman, I'm not talking about girls your age, but a woman in the church, sure enough, approached you and what's the word I'm looking for? When they solicit, I don't want to use that word, but when they approach and make a good, strong attempt.
Push.
A good strong push. What's about the earliest age you can remember?
17.
17? I'm ashamed. Man, Pastor David Hawkins says 16. I don't even want to tell mine. Where's my
Go
brother?
ahead. We keeping it real, remember?
Where my brother Pastor Tyrone Roberson? Petition. Gerald Haynes, my cousin. What up, man?
What you gonna say? 6?
Nah, I can remember as early as 12.
7.
Yeah, 12.
12?
Yeah.
How old was the girl?
She wasn't a girl.
How old was the woman?
At 12, that's not something you really think about. I don't know.
You knew you was 12, so you had to know she was something
I
else.
said I was about 12. Yeah.
So how old was she?
Pastor Tyrone Roberson said 17. Maybe because back then, we are talking about the 80s and light skin was in, so that just gave me double. Yeah.
She was like, girl, but he looked just like Al B. Sure.
I was double with the curl. I had the long V-neck pigtail and all of that. Ronald Height says 13.
So you was switch, huh?
Man. Kanisha Janae Henry says pass. She doesn't want to talk. Oh, she's saying make a pass at you. Okay. Gerald, my cousin, crazy. Yeah, about 12 years old is about as early as I remember. So let me ask you this, Steve. About how many do you remember making for real strong attempts? Now, you notice I ain't saying how many succeeded. I'm not asking that question tonight. That's not our business.
Right.
How many made strong attempts? About how many in the history of your church?
Reading something about some Job looked at the woman.
Job looked at the woman. Let's come try to them die. Yeah. So about how old? Not how old. About how many total over the years?
Maybe like 5 or 6, 7, 8.
I'm counting 2. Where it was like for real, like I know for sure this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I would say like 4.
My sister said, brother, for real? Why didn't you tell your sisters?
Because first of all, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the difference in the difference in today and back then. Back then, I don't remember a word called molestation. I don't remember a word called the term sexual harassment. Back then, for boys,
sexual predators.
Yeah, sexual predators. I don't remember those phrases and those words. But for boys, let's just be honest. My sister,
it was a badge of honor.
Hey, it was a badge of honor. It was a notch in our belt. Just to be honest, y'all. You grow up and you see how bad it was, but for real, man, it was a badge of honor. It was like he said, my words, I say it was a notch in our belt.
I'm gonna stick with badge of honor.
My church was in East St. Louis. We didn't say badge of honor. There was a notch in my belt. It was like, yeah. But no, man, for real. That's actually, people don't want to admit, that's the kind of things people don't really talk about in church. Pastor Tyrone Roberson says real attempts 2 with a possible 3.
Possible 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So
crazy.
Yeah, man, that's a real problem. That's a real problem in the church. And now I have sons who are twin boys who are now 20 and also musicians. So I know because it ain't been
that's the double whammy right there.
Right. That's
the double whammy.
I'm sure that's what happened with us.
PKs and you're a musician.
Yep.
And I know you can't. I know you can't relate to this, but you can sing.
I'm looking for the one that doesn't disrespect your mother. Let me see. I don't have one.
You big dummy.
That's the closest thing I got. Man. Well, I want to say something. Oh man. Okay.
I mean, but you could sing once you got that vocoder on. You was Roger Troutman.
Hey, I didn't have to sing. I was light skinned in the 80s with curly hair, and I played the piano, and I always snuck in at the end. I don't care what song we were singing. My faith looks up to thee, so Savior divine. And it say, hear me while I pray. Now take one to me from this day. And I'll always do like a Brian McKnight ending on it, like One Last Cry or something, or Weak by SWV. And then just kind of look out in the audience and see which women just did this. See, let's be truthful. Did you play into it sometimes, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when I became older, like I would do the same thing. I play like the little secular endings and all that kind of stuff. I think we've all done that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're just talking about some things that go on that pastors' children get to experience that most people don't know are real issues. They're real things. That's right, Chris Boyd. Well, I didn't quite reach my black belt.
I remember one time I had accidentally cut myself bald. Well, no, I actually
That's
nicked
what happened to
myself right
you
here.
too. Me too. That's what happened.
We said we was keeping it real too. No, but I had nicked myself like right here, and it was like October, November, so it was cold outside. So I was just trying to find a way to get it, as low as possible. And after a while, just cut it off. Now, that next Sunday was the first time I had showed up to church with a bald head.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to church, and I'm playing the keys, and it's after church. This lady comes up and kisses me on the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was so shocked that I couldn't do anything but like look out to see who else saw it.
That's all you got to say?
That's it.
Oh,
That's
man,
it.
You got
The end.
You got good clean stories.
I told you I was saved. You a heathen.
Man, I'm sitting up here feeling like, man, I think I was a sinner for real.
Right. Yours came up with all like, happy birthday to you too.
Hey, let me ask you this. So my brother Carlos we're like a year and some months apart, right? Almost 2 years apart. So we're close in age is my point. He's older than me. And your brother is what's the age gap between you two?
Like a year and some change. What you talking about, Kim? It does not happen to the girls too. It does not. I rebuke you. No, hold on. What? I rebuke you.
No, man. Hey, my sister and I have talked about it. It happens, man.
I know it does,
Yeah,
but I don't want it. I don't want to talk about that.
But we're talking real tonight. So let me ask you this. Did you ever find where you and your brother almost swapped stories because the same woman hit on both of y'all? Did you ever experience? Oh, we definitely have.
No.
Yeah, we definitely have. Definitely. Let me ask you this question, then we're gonna get off of this topic. When you were younger, do you still have to see the one who was the most aggressive?
Yep.
Okay, we'll get off that topic. Let me ask you this question, then we'll get off the topic.
They don't go to our church.
Okay, but you still have to see them.
Yeah,
like
from time to time.
Yeah, one of the ones with me, like, I honestly believe she really got saved in real life because I never witnessed or experienced, seen no signs of that ever again. It's probably been, a couple and a half decades. So I really think she really got delivered and saved. But let me ask you this. Do you still have to deal with that from time to time?
Yep.
Me too.
I've had people become friends with at the time my wife, and then friends with somebody that I'm dating, and come up to me and say, "Now you know me and you supposed to be together."
Oh my goodness, that is, boy. Let me play this right here.
I've had people come up to me during my marriage and be like, "Well, I'm about to go home, and I'm about to be alone, and this and that, yada yada yada. Oh, my bad. I shouldn't be telling you this. You married." It's real conversations. I'm all like, "All right, then." I'm doing the SpongeBob. I'm all like, "All right, I'm out."
Yeah, it can be pretty bad. I have yeah. I'll let you tell yours. That's good. What's the next question on the list?
The next question is, has Too ever had to deal with that in church?
Lifting you up and making you feel good in the name of Jesus. It's Wake Up St. Louis Music Morning Show.
Yeah. I want y'all to check out this song. This is Scooter Lamont. Don't quit. We're going to play a little bit of it. Then we're going to come back to talking with me and Gabriel.
Yeah. So many trials.
We're going to talk in a minute. Let's let this play for a second.
The enemy, he tried to tear me apart and terrorize my heart and knock me to the ground.
I'm cold, ain't I?
But I know what made it. In spite of all my flaws, hey, yeah. He put me on my feet and told me to stand. He gave me a plan of victory. Ooh. So I'm here to encourage you. No matter what you go through, what problems may come your way, your breakthrough is on its way. So don't wait still. Don't give up. No. So keep pressing. God is gonna blow your mind. Now the struggles get hard. Yeah.
I hear you, Chris, boy.
Trials fell on me, it left scars. The enemy, he tried to tear me apart and terrorize my heart and knock me to the ground. Ooh, yeah.
Tamika, Fogey. Tamika, you can get in on this conversation too. You can answer some of these questions.
He put me on my feet and told me to stand. He gave me a plan of victory.
Call right back. Let's see if we can fix your delay. Say something.
Hey, no matter what it looks like, I know you're going through right now. No matter what it feels like, hey,
yep.
Don't quit. Say don't give up. Don't quit.
Thank you, Boo Man. Hey, my voice cracked. Welcome to puberty.
Make this declaration.
Oh yeah, that's Scooter Lamont, y'all. Well, it ain't brand new music, but Don't Quit right here.
That's a banger right there. That's a joint right there, boy.
Oh, you almost back on? Yeah, you back on. That's good. Good. All right, Yolanda Yancey, lighter than me for real in real life. Hey, we want y'all to know too, Wake Up St. Louis is powered by, even though this is not Wake Up St. Louis, but the songs that you're hearing now is powered by Me Too Music's The Voice, the 24/7 online radio station, giving a voice to St. Louis area gospel. We air 24/7. Just visit me2music.com. That's METOO music.com, and you'll see The Voice right there. You can listen to great local music every single day, 24/7. And yeah, hear that and see what's happening in the St. Louis area. Also, everybody knows, we've had an overload on all of this information. That's why we like to come on here regularly now and give you all something to uplift you and take some of your mind off. I mean, we can't take our mind completely off of this coronavirus pandemic that's going on, but we also have to remember we're still living, and so we still have some other issues as long as we're on earth that we have to deal with. And then too, we want to uplift you and give you some music that helps to encourage you and all of that. One thing we want you to know, Francis Health Ministry has suggested that certain painkillers could aggravate the effects of the coronavirus. Taking anti-inflammatory drugs, ibuprofen, cortisone. I said ibuprofen. Ibuprofen, cortisone, Advil, Aleve, can actually aggravate. It can be an aggravating factor.
Baby.
Ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
It can be an aggravating factor of the infection. If you have a fever, take paracetamol. I think is how you paracetamol with an L on the end. It's AKA acetaminophen. Tylenol, y'all. You laughing at me?
Paracetamol. Take some Tylenol.
Okay. All right. So yeah, if you're already on an anti-inflammatory, I am talking like Don tonight.
Right, you might as well do the announcements.
That's not even a word.
Oh man.
Dementor.
So, okay, good. Great point. Pastor David Hawkins said they debunked that the other day per anti-inflammatories. Great to know. Thank you, Pastor Hawkins. So we'll move on then. I have some other information. But I'm going to get back to this question. We're going to get back to this. Don't forget, April the 11th. We have 10 more days. April the 11th. And the Clark Sisters, the First Ladies of Gospel, comes out April the 11th on Lifetime. Track. Oh yeah, that's my track right there. Also, brand new music from the St. Louis area, St. Louis metropolitan area. We have Kenny DeShields with a brand new single dropped last week. I believe it dropped on the 25th, called Imagine. Yeah, it's a great song. As a matter of fact, check it out in just a piece.
Imagine what the world will look like if we put our differences aside.
Yeah, that's Kenny DeShields, y'all, with Imagine. Herman Gordon, You Are My Everything, also dropped, I believe, on last week. So Herman Gordon Jr. has something brand new out, so be sure to check that out. Also, Jesse Prather and Committed to Christ, new project.
Jesse P.
Yeah, their brand new project, Lit, with one of my jams on it. Is it right here? Oh, this cut right here. We're going to get back to the questions, y'all. And we're going to let y'all go. His intro too long. Look at Steve.
So you got problems in your life and things don't seem to be going right.
Oh, yeah. Just give it to Jesus. Also, Corey Barrett, Worship the Lamb, is also out. His new single, just in time for Resurrection. Who else got something coming out? GAB Fact, Restoration Choir, In You, There's Rest. As a matter of fact, let's do this like this. Dr. Levi R. King Sr. and the GAB Fact Restoration Choir, In You, There's Rest. The new live energy-filled project from Dr. King and Restoration Choir featuring One More Day. Until that moment comes. The anthem inspired His Mercy Forever. I Won't Quit, featuring Raytina and Pastor Michael A. Lampton. And much more. It's available now to download at The Source, metoomusic.com/The Source. That's metoomusic.com/The Source. You can also pick up a physical copy at Gateway Area Bible Fellowship Church. Dr. Levi R. King Sr. and the Gateway Area Bible Fellowship Restoration Choir, In You There's Rest. In You There's Rest. Available now. So yeah, y'all be sure to check that out. Get that. That is GAB Fact, my father, Pastor Dr. Levi R. King Sr. and the GAB Fact Restoration Choir. Also, my little sister, my new little sister, Tamika Fogarty. Let me play hers too while we at it. Check this out.
Yeah, Tamika Fogarty. That's
Here we go. Check out her commercial real quick. Tamika Fogarty, always there.
Hey everybody, this is Tamika Fogarty. I'd love for you to pick up my project entitled Always There, featuring Yes, God is Real. My God is real. The Hallelujah Worship Medley. My title song, Always There. He's there through your thick and your thin. My God has proved to be my very best friend. And much more. Be sure to get my new project, Always There, available on all digital outlets. Get it now.
That's my little sister, y'all, Tamika Fogarty, always there.
Yes.
So be sure to pick up all of this brand new music. I absolutely love that new Kenny DeShields. I love that Herman Gordon. I love that Corey Barrett. I love all of this music that's out here. Okay, let me stop the music for a second. We're going to get back into this deep conversation, all right? What question were you answering? You were talking about something, Steve.
You were answering.
What was I answering?
You were answering your question about the older women in church.
See, man, this is not nice because you're not married anymore. I'm still married, and my wife is probably listening, so I shouldn't be answering these kind of questions. But my wife and I,
the question that you brought up.
My wife and I talk about this stuff all the time. I'm just joking.
Should have thought about that before you got married. No,
it's just a joke. No, there is one lady who still, but let me tell you how slick it is. She does it, and I'm not saying she's a member of my church. I'm not saying that. But there is a woman from around church who's very slick with it. But the way she does it is you ever have somebody say something to you where if you told and then you confront her or somebody confronts her, let's say it's a woman in my church and I take her to my pastor, right? And then my pastor says, well, what did she say? Well, when I say what she says, when I repeat it, it almost sounds petty. Because you realize she was actually kind of playing it safe, where it could be taken both ways. Like, how did you get that? That's not what I meant. You know, she could kind of play it safe. Right. It's not really what she said, but how she said it. But it's also coupled and mixed with what she said. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah. I do have an issue with a much older woman who plays that game. And
what are we talking about? 70, 80?
I don't know. I don't know her age. I would think about 60. Yeah, 60. Yeah, 60-ish. I would think. Yeah, so that's pretty hard because the truth is the only person I really and then I have to protect my wife and cover my wife because I can't run and tell my wife, you know, all the time because already my wife looking at her side-eyed, you know. Right. So that makes it hard because I try to protect my wife from having to deal with these emotional things. But yeah, that's
He seemed like the type that'd be all like, what?
Yeah, she ain't really like that. My wife is the type that she'll kiss everybody goodnight at sleep and pray over all us, be slinging oil and speaking in tongues and super saved. And I get up to use the bathroom at 3:39 a.m. and she don't be in the bed. And then I go look out in the garage and the car be gone. That's the type she is. That's the type she is. My brother Ryan tripping. Well, Kristen, let me tell you something. See, I'm going to tell y'all something that a lot of these women say, the kind of stuff they say. My sister Kristen said she is a geriatric now. Don't believe that.
Miss White Diamond.
Hey. Hey, she's not
Oh my God.
like she still dresses young. She's still very fashionable. She ain't gray haired and all of that. She keeps her hair did like they say. But let me tell you also, she drops
how her hands look.
She drops and says stuff. Serious talk. She'll drop and make little hints like, I can't get pregnant, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick, man. It's pretty sick. And I've been as direct.
Wow.
I actually just completely try to steer clear of her. But I've been as direct as I can be, man. Yeah. But that's that. So I answered the question. I just wanted y'all to know I was not really avoiding the question for real. I really kind of was.
Yeah. Gonna play Scooter.
Kinda.
Like, some fresh new music, everybody.
Yeah.
Came out in February.
Yeah, if you saw her out and about, you wouldn't know. You would not guess. I don't think that she was 60, maybe 60, I guess.
How her hands look?
I don't look at the woman's hands.
You can always tell if a woman look.
April Bateman said they look like cottage cheese. Now, this is one of those women that look very good for her age. So we're just filling y'all like in on what happens in the church and how as pastor sons, some of the things we have to deal with as pastor sons, especially when you're a musician and a pastor son. Okay, what's the next question, man?
All right. The advantages and the disadvantages of being a PK.
Well, I can tell you don't do radio show interviews and stuff because you're supposed to just ask the first question, and then when we get through all of those, then you say, oh, okay, well, on the flip side, what's the disadvantages? But now you just gave it all away.
Okay, I mean, we can still do it that way. Come on, Mr. Two.
Dude, sometimes I think you my real brother
Mr.
for real,
White Diamonds.
We're not going to talk about the lady that kissed you in the top of your head. Okay, so
they look like Miss.
What's the first one? An advantage.
They look like Miss Silly Hands.
So Raquel Scott used to be a BFAC. She says it's the exact same thing for a pastor's daughter that's a musician. She's an excellent musician and singer. She would definitely know. Yeah. Man, let me tell you something. Let me go back right quick. I'm for real, man. This is all jokes aside, Steve, because we joke all the time. But this is real talk right here. There was a time in my life where, yes, I was hooked on pornography, right? Dude, I'm serious. I'm not joking. You think? Stop reading the comments, man.
That was poorly timed. It was poorly timed. I was looking at the comments.
Very poorly timed. Stop looking at the comments.
Read it. My cousin said
they get food before the rest of us. That's true. Actually, not in my church. They made us wait last for everything. The pastor's kids. Okay, so for real talk. There was a time I was, addicted to pornography, right? This is what's sick about it. I never realized until I was a grown man that growing up, I would watch pornography and did not know that I would be searching out older. I don't know how you search it on. What are some of the words that they use when you're looking for older grannies?
Older women.
Yeah, it gave me a perverted attraction to older women because of the women. I don't know. I don't know how psychologically it worked and how it molded and shaped and kind of rewired and twisted some things in my head. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it did that, man. And I didn't realize until I was older, looking back, how I became twisted growing up because of these perverted women, man, who pushed up on me as a child, as a kid. Did you ever have? Yeah,
I mean, that's my ex-wife was older because I developed an attraction to what was attracted to me. Mm-hmm. And I kind of I don't know how better to say it. It just worked out that way. Like you said, it kind of rewired some things, and it was like, man,
My brother knows me well. He says we don't know the words that they use to. I was really trying to bait you because I knew you were gonna start just spitting them off. The words they use to search in porn to look for. That was really me baiting you. But
I know you good enough. I was like, no, what did you tell me?
I definitely don't know. But yeah, that was that. Okay.
Or I do that. Oh man.
Oh, right.
Oh man, you stupid.
You stupid. You crazy. Now that's how it is. Oh
Yeah,
man,
you crazy. Oh man, you crazy.
Okay, we off of that subject. Whew.
Advantages.
Boy, I've been sweating this whole time. Okay.
Advantages of being the PK.
Give me one, I'll give you one. Let's trade.
All right. Advantages is all right. You always have a place to go where nobody else can go.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll give you that one. I didn't even think about that.
Always have a place. You can always go to the pastor's office.
Yep.
And
Or your mother's office.
Yeah, all the kids want to go to the pastor's office, yada yada, but they can't because hey, I'll holler at y'all later. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got one for you. This gonna sound petty, but it's just the truth. Knowing everybody's business in the church before anybody else knows.
I didn't have it.
What? See, when I was growing up, my father always had a phone. He had a what we used to call a car phone. Remember, that was before they called them cell phones.
Yeah,
it was called a car phone.
You had it in the car.
It was in the car, drilled into the little hump in the middle.
into the console.
So
my dad had a yellow Cadillac with one in there.
We had a copper Cadillac. We had a white Cadillac, 85 Fleetwood Mac, and we had a brown Fleetwood Cadillac. I said Fleetwood Mac. That's a singing group. Fleetwood Caddy. Okay, but my sister Joy, she was on here. I don't know where she is. But growing up as kids, our church was in East St. Louis, but we lived in St. Louis. So that was like a 23 to 25 minute, on some nights, 30-minute drive home while he's on the phone counseling and talking to members. Dude, I can tell you just about everything that happened. If you were a member of BFAC, I'm just going to tell it. I ain't going to tell what you did. But if you were a member of BFAC, from the time I was, let me see, when can I remember earliest conversation? Maybe 5 to the time I was driving. I didn't get my license till my 18th birthday. So from 5 to 18, if you did it, oh, I know it. if your daughter and your son did it, oh, I know it.
So I got
so that's
Raquel Scott said you get paid first. Unfortunately, that was never for me.
Yeah, we'd be the ones. Everybody else would get paid, and they would hold ours.
Yeah. I didn't for a long time. Now here's one, Raquel. Here's one for you. For a long time, I was on my dad's payroll.
Yeah, me too, man. That's true.
Because I was on my dad's payroll.
That's true.
So I've been playing for my church for 30 years. And I'd say maybe the first 10 to 15 years, I didn't get paid for my church.
You've been playing that long? Man, you don't look old. There's no gray or nothing in your beard. You don't even look that old. But go ahead.
Really?
You didn't get paid the first 15 years?
Yeah, it's just about that. I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid for my church.
I got paid, but we got paid. I got paid $20 a Sunday. And then they had to cut our pay for about a year to 2 years because they couldn't afford to pay us $20 a Sunday.
Yeah, I got paid around that, like when my dad started paying us.
Now my sister Joy is on here. She said, "Yep, I'm sure she's talking about hearing the business of others." Dude, I'm telling you, we knew because he talked on the phone, so we heard it. Then too, we grew up poor. We had one bathroom. That's the other thing too, and I noticed that still sticks with me to this day, and that is, first of all, I just talked to Erna about this, man, last Saturday or Friday. It was Saturday. Erna and I had this conversation, or it could have been Friday. Might have been Friday. I was talking about when I pick songs to play on the radio. Steve, right here. When I pick songs to play on the radio on the Wake Up St. Louis show, I'm very careful that I don't pick, like I make a conscious effort to maybe only purposely choose one Me Too music song or a song I produce, because I'm like over aware and overconscious of like nepotism and you know, doing, because that's how I grew up. We grew up, they always blaming us. The pastor only let him do it because it's his son, or the pastor only picked him because of this. So now
you slipping into disadvantages now. Hey, I'm just keeping it.
Man, is your mother still on here?
You in radio. You supposed to be outlined. You supposed to keep everything together. You on radio. This is what you do, too.
Hey man, I don't get to have these self-cleansing conversations often. I'm about to lay down on the desk and be talking to you.
And start crying, and then in '82, it was like, you know, what am I supposed to do though?
Hey, real quick, y'all. We're gonna play some music real quick. I want to play Gabriel, "Lost Without You." This dude told me this is the, what you call it?
Hey,
the
don't do that, too.
Hey, he said this is the acoustic mix. We're going to play this. We're going to finish this conversation, and we're going to bed. Well, we ain't going to bed. Pause.
Hey, Rita, tell your dad to listen. That's my cousin Junior on the guitar.
Lost Without You. Y'all, tell me after the song go off why I'm saying the acoustic mix in parentheses. Lost Without You by my boy, Stephen Gabriel Thompson, y'all. I'm keeping your mic open, boy.
Yes, sir.
We're going to come back and finish this conversation. I love this song, man.
I'll be lost like the Garden of Eden. Right after what
your cousin Rita talking to you, man.
You said the fruit was not to be eaten, and they got kicked out for their disobedience. I'll be lost like a star when the sun's out. Lost like time when it runs out.
Acoustic version,
without
everybody.
You in my life, God, I'd fail. I'd be like a ship without a sail. If I didn't have you by my side,
Lamont,
I know that I'd be lost without you.
Lamont, keep listening.
No doubt that I'd be lost without you. Without you, help me sing, yeah. If I didn't have you by my side, whoa, I know that I'd be lost without you. My God, my God, I'd be lost my God, my God.
Lamont is a pastor's son. He could be on this conversation.
I know.
I'd be lost like the Pharaoh's army, and drowning in the Red Sea of tears. I'd be lost like the children of Israel in the wilderness for 40 long years. You didn't have to save my life, but you did. Didn't have to bring me out, but you did. Without you in my life, God, I'd fail.
Hey man, let other people head bob to your music.
Ship without a sail.
That's arrogant.
If I didn't have you by my side, whoa, I know that I'd be lost without you.
Bert Coleman said, where can we get this song? You can get this off the source.
Yeah.
Free.
If I didn't have you by my side, I'd be lost without you.
It ain't free on the source.
I'd be lost without you. I'd be lost without you. Without God, I can do nothing. Without Him, I would fail. Without God, my life would be run.
Hey, we Dawkins and Dawkins, dog. We doing a video.
Right.
Like a ship without a sail. A ship without a sail.
Yeah, listen to this acoustic song, y'all.
Didn't have you by my side.
The acoustic version.
I know that I'd be lost without you.
My cousin Pamela Robertson.
If I didn't have you by my side, I know.
This song is long.
I'd be like a ship, ship without a sail. I'd be lost without you. Tossed and driven by the angry sea. Yeah.
I know you ain't talking about the reprises you got on your songs.
Without you, no doubt that without you, yeah. If I didn't have you by my side.
How many times can you say I didn't have you by my side?
No. I'd be lost without you.
As many times as y'all say I won't quit.
If I didn't have you by my side, I know that I would. Yeah.
That's the acoustic version, y'all. With an 808, a 909 kick. and a 909 snare. Never heard of that before in my life. That's Lost Without You by my brother, my boy, Gabriel. I joke a lot with him and I play a lot with him only because I respect him a lot and I love him a whole lot. That's my boy right there.
Love you too, too.
Hey, man, so we were talking about, we were talking about advantages. So your first one was having a place to go that nobody else can go. You always have somewhere to hide and go steal away and get away from everybody, like your father's office.
And you don't have to use the public bathroom either.
You don't. When you got to do the number 2, you don't.
Yeah, you go to the get office. You go to the get toilet.
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah. So, and then mine was we knew the mess. We knew everybody's mess, everybody's business in church before it ever got out. Most of the time it got out because of us, because we told one of our cousins or friends in the church. Then it got out. All right, give me another one for you. Pastor Ty, come on, jump on in here.
Advantages.
Sean Tate, what up, brother? Give me an advantage for being a pastor's son. Lamont, give me an advantage. Pamela Robeson, give me an advantage of being a pastor's daughter.
They feed you good. They feed you good.
When you finally get your plate, yes, go ahead, talk about it.
It's the good chicken.
And everybody else got to get one piece, and they sneak you a second piece under there, right?
Or you get 2 types of meat, like chicken and ham.
Yep. And I didn't even grow up eating meat, but yep.
Right. It was you get the 2 types of meat. If they had roast beef and chicken, then you got roast beef and chicken. If they had if my auntie was cooking.
Oh, my sister.
Hey.
That's true, though.
Big facts. Big facts. Hey, real talk, too. Real talk. My dad had to make them stop doing that for us.
For those of y'all who don't know, my sister Joy E. King says we got to finish communion after service because we would be the ones to be able to go to the secret offices and we'd be back there eating bread and turning them cups upside down. Yes, sir.
We didn't have to go to the secret. We'd be there all day. So after church, when everybody was gone, we'd be still up there in the sanctuary. Remember that, Rita? We'd be still up there in the sanctuary. Mother House made communion bread, like actual communion. It looked like
that's what I was like. Yep, I see. And it used to be good. It used to be so good.
Yeah.
Let me see. I saw a good one from Pam Roberson, sister of Pastor Tyrone Roberson, daughter and son of Pastor Charles.
Get all the backstage meals at the churches.
Yep.
At other churches.
Yep. You go to other churches.
At other churches, you get treated a little bit better than you do. At home.
You do. You almost treated like a prince when you go to a visiting church and you get to go downstairs and eat in the basement after church because you have to be in line or you're sitting at the table with your parents and they're going to get served. And so we get served.
It's almost like Simeon and the King. Where are the rose bearers?
Yep. Hey, that's one of those exactly. Shut up, man. That's one of those things where you would be sitting with your cousins and your family, and then they're gonna serve the pastors first. When you saw they're gonna start bringing plates, you like forget y'all. You go sit with your parents because you're gonna get your plate. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. Pastor Ty said the pressure to get saved is always on you. Wow.
Or to follow. No, wait. That's disadvantage.
Well, that's a disadvantage. Well. I think he's putting that into the disadvantage category. But since we're there, let's talk about it.
So you're always, this is one that made me kind of hold off for being a minister. It was a whole lot of pressure to follow in your dad's footsteps.
Well, don't skip his answer first. Talk about his first. Man,
I didn't even see his. I'm sorry. I was listening to you.
I read it. He said the pressure is always on us to get saved. The pressure to get saved is always on us.
Right. So, that's more of a question for you two. You was a heathen.
What you talking about, Willis?
You was a heathen.
Man, you know what? I can honestly say to my brother, Pastor Ty, we lived in a church where they really took time with our youth. I must say that. They really did, man. We were Holy Ghost filled, speaking in tongues and being baptized, laying hands on each other. We were really taught the word of God as young children. So that one, now the thing is this, we get a little older and of course we backslide, but at church we act saved. So they never really knew that we weren't saved for real. Only people back on Washington in the hood knew we wasn't saved. But yeah, for real, people at church didn't know because as pastors' children, it was expected. It was expected, and that was the pressure there that we had to most of the time live a lie and live behind a facade. That would be.
I could sympathize better with the pressure to seem saved all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You don't listen when I talk, do you?
No, what I'm saying is I'm not talking at you. I'm talking with you about his comment.
Hey, you kind of got hands like them 60-year-old women you were talking about too. Let's see your hands. I just noticed. Hey, Auntie Diane. So
nobody turning you on to.
So, oh my goodness.
The views expressed in this program are not necessarily the views of Me Too Music.
No, they're not at all. Okay, Tamika Fogarty said, I just saw her. She says you get to go. That is a good one. You get to go out to eat with the other clergy. That means as pastors' children, even when our parents couldn't afford it, when they were treating out of town evangelists, yeah. But that would be that time your mother would say, "Oh, let me take you to the bathroom to wash your hands," and she give us that talk. Now, I want you to go back in there and order off the kids' menu, and order a water and order a salad. You know, she would have to give us that talk because we didn't have no money, man. But yes, growing up, I have eaten at some of the finest restaurants. Okay, let me say this. Growing up, I have sat at the table at some of the finest restaurants. Boy, my mama gonna call me probably tonight.
Right. She probably got the last number already down. Just gonna put sin in a minute.
Oh, April Bateman asked, "Do PK kids ever go to the altar?" Not in my church. Not in my church.
You know what? You know what? It's harder when you're a PK and a musician. Those are because you have to play altar music. You have to play real talk. I mean, you have to play altar music when it come up and get your blessing.
I wasn't laughing at you. No, you're right about that. Yeah. We have
to play the music that get y'all blessings. You know what I'm saying?
We serve 24/7 at church, especially when you're a musician. We don't get up. Man, there have been times, tell me if you can relate, Steve. There have been times I've been broken and been in church, and two things that have bothered me to no ends growing up. I could be struggling, man, with sin and really convicted and really want to be free, and a guest evangelist or a guest preacher be prophesying to everybody and telling you, "Come on, musician," and want you to just support them and play behind them. And then, oh man, that would get me because it's like, dude, you a prophet. You can't see in the spirit that I'm probably worse off than anybody else in this room, but because I'm the musician, you want me and need me to push you and help make you feel good so you continue to do what you do. That's number one. And the second thing is when they finally do every now and then prophesy and give you a word, it's always about music. And what you gonna do musically. I can't, dude, I almost gonna say hate to hear "meh" come out of a prophet's mouth if they ever look at me. Anything that sounds like "meh," no.
You're gonna be a major impact. You already shut them off.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that's that one. Pastor Tyrone Roberson said his dad would tell the church that if Jesus were to come back tonight, my sister would go to heaven, but me and my brother are going straight to hell. Okay, give me another disadvantage. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Raquel, thank you, Raquel. Raquel, I appreciate that. Raquel says, I remember 2 on the organ crying many Sundays. Dude, when Raquel was there, let me see. Raquel, how old was I when you were there? I think you came in like 96-ish. somewhere around there. So I would have been like 21. And, you know, that 21 is a rough age, man. That's when the state is telling you you're grown. You're no longer a minor. But, you know, you're still living at home with mom and daddy. At least I was. And you're struggling between manhood and immaturity. You know what I'm saying? And then still the pressure of being a pastor's son. And then, too, at that age, I had actually already started studying for myself. So there was a lot of conviction going on at that age, but not really knowing how to be delivered from sin. So sinning real bad and having to see, we grew up during the age where we felt like, where we were taught or conditioned to believe, I can't say I was taught that directly, that if you're on the organ, you're supposed to be clean. So sometimes I was almost depressed because I wasn't able to live up to that. I wasn't clean, but I was serving in church. So I always thought I was going to hell. The pressure of that, man, was just, that was something crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Pressure from other people. I've never experienced pressure from my dad to do anything, but it was always pressure, outside pressure. It'd be like, so you're going to be, you know, your dad is an awesome preacher. You going to follow in his footsteps? And it's like, man, why would you even do that to me?
Yep. It's expected for us to be the ones that, I don't know, you're in the Baptist church. And politics work a little differently in the Baptist church. We don't really see in the Baptist church as much when the father, who's the pastor, passes on, that the son becomes the pastor. We don't really see that as much.
I've had that conversation put on me. You know, so you gonna take over after your? Come on, man.
I grew up in the apostolic church. Well, we weren't. Our church said apostolic, but we were never apostolic by organization or denomination. But it's expected almost for your what they call the Pentecostal churches. It's almost expected for the sons to take over the church when the pastor, you know, is gone. That's, yeah. What you laughing at, man?
Quetta Williams. The one on the right is a PK, and a minister of music. I'm not sure about the other guy. That's funny.
So, yeah, that's definitely a disadvantage for. Yeah. Let me ask you this, Steve. Did Bishop Thompson? Does he operate in the gift prophetic? You know, like the prophetic office. Is he prophetic?
Yeah.
So does he? You ever been out or just in church where he's prophesying to everybody?
Yep.
And have you ever at any point in your life felt like,
what about me?
What about me?
Yep.
Can you remember your father ever prophesying to you?
Yep.
I can't.
But it's the reason why I can is because it's that one time that I was thinking, what about me? And he turned to me. And that's like,
that's okay. I'm glad you said that. That did kind of happen. My father looked at me, but didn't address it to me. So I can still say directly, I don't think he ever has. Which I think is a part. I think that's a part of that whole how we were trained not to show favoritism, and I don't think he could do it for real. And a lot of times, man,
I think that's the going back to our first topic, the dad versus the pastor. I think that's a little battle right then, to where maybe should I say this over the mic? You know, or should, you know, if I kind of say this over the mic that, hey, I know that you're struggling with blah 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 blah, is that going to be advantageous to him as in the office that he has to hold, or would it be to his detriment?
That's okay. Man, I don't know if that, you know what, Steve? I don't know if all my years, I don't think I've ever looked at it that way. That's
I didn't until just now. I'm dead serious. Dead serious.
I honestly never. Yeah, I've never looked at it that way. The kind of effect it had on them that way. My only real angle was he couldn't really afford to show me attention, and I always felt like I felt like me and my siblings suffered because all the attention he had to show. It wasn't that he didn't have time to show us attention. It just seemed like it seemed unfair, and he would be looked at wrong if he showed his children. So, for instance, I'm glad he's here. My brother, Pastor Tyrone Roberson. We've talked about this many times. So my son Joa is 10 years old, right? And Joa, man, all kidding aside, is a unreal drummer. Like,
yes,
when I say unreal,
I've been over there and heard him just chopping,
like,
and I'm like,
10 years old, dude. Probably, and my sons, like Landon and Lathan, those jokers are amazing. But I'm gonna be honest. And then I had Thomas. I got my nephew Zion. All of them. My nephew Jamil that came up under me. But, and then I've grown up with all my cousins, Terrion, David, my nephew David, my nephew Demarius, all of them, my brother Carlos, all of us. But the truth is, this dude at a young age shows a different kind of talent level than we had at 10. So, I had one of those father moments where you stick your chest out when Joa had to fill in for Zion. Zion had a basketball game, I think out of town one Sunday last year.
I think you told me this one.
Yeah, and I'm sure I sent you the video. I had a clip of Joa.
No, I was sitting there. With you.
Oh, for real?
And you said you was going to do this. You had practiced. You had thought of this whole run that you was going to do during the break.
Yeah,
and he came in and he was.
Oh man, he killed it too. But the thing is, Pastor Tyrone Roberson is the one he's one of the ones that pointed out to me. Pastor Michael Lampkin did too. And that is, if you go back and watch the video is on YouTube. My son, at that point in time, I think he was only 9. I don't even think he was 10 yet. But the camera is on me and he's behind me. And he is killing, and my insides, man, are on fire. Like I could have jumped off the organ, cried, and did 20 backflips in the air without ever touching the ground. But my face, see, people don't understand, man. And a lot of people will say, man, you shouldn't be like that. Let that go. Do this and do that. But people didn't grow up with us. They didn't live with us growing up and get the experiences and the kind of hurt that we went through for showing excitement for one another. We got blamed for everything as pastors' children. So now I'm a grown man who sits like a statue, and my son is killing like never before. And I'm thinking I'm showing, yeah. But when I went back and watched the video, dude, I actually had a tear come to my eye because my son is killing like never, and I'm doing this. Just playing the music. And people don't know I was shaped and molded to kind of become that person who's not able to really, like indirectly, never, I don't want to put it out there wrong, never directly. We were not directly taught to act that way at all, but indirectly. And my sister can say something, my sister Joy, but my sister Joy is the same way. She can come on here and disagree if she wants. My sister Joy is the same way. She's probably not as bad as me, but my sister Joy is the same way. We're very careful. We both have been shaped where we really can't show open what it's hard, man, because of the type of criticism and the type of stuff we faced growing up. So, yeah, man.
Yeah. What's let's see, another disadvantage to PK, another disadvantage.
What is it?
Well, all right. Here's one. Here's one for the double. I guess the double.
Thank you, Pastor Hawkins. I really love and appreciate you, man.
We pastor's kid, preacher's kid, pastor's kid, and musician. Mm-hmm. So you're the in-house musician. Mm-hmm. So for anything that the church needs, if it's a banquet, if it's the church's banquet, if it's, I'm sorry, if it's the church's banquet,
that's how it goes.
The pastor's banquet, anything that needs a musician, you're going to do it and you're going to do it for free. And if you can't do it, then you have to watch them pay somebody else.
Yep. Now, I must say, you know what our pay was growing up?
The food.
The food.
Yeah,
man.
But then you look at the paid musicians come in and they get food and money.
Yep.
So that just make me think like, so how crazy are we for just taking the food?
I got one more for you and we can end this.
All right.
One more, we can end this. You know what it is? You almost feel shamed and bad if anybody from your house, your pastors, your pastor, your mother, your father, your mother, your siblings, if you ever have anything nice. Whether it's a car, whether it's new clothes. See, people don't know the kind of stuff.
You start thinking about what everybody else thinking.
Because the only reason we even think about that is because people throughout our lives make comments, and we hear the little slick remarks about they offering their money, tithes and offerings. We almost can't ever have, and they don't know. My father says all the time, my father don't spend church money on him. That's why he's always had a job, always worked on the business, always. I'm gonna say, I don't know if I want to say this. I told you this earlier, Steve. Remember we were talking earlier and I talked about everything that's in that church?
Yep.
I say it openly. My church ain't if
you don't need to say it, don't say it.
Okay. No, it ain't that. I just try to say it very
respectfully. I'm just saying, is it necessary to get the point across?
It's necessary to this point. To talk about how my father has worked to take care of the church, but we get blamed or shamed when we get a new car, or if we moved, or if we got nice furniture, or if we got TVs. I can say this. I can't point out a piece of equipment in my entire church that my church has bought.
My church has never had to go. Now this is one thing that is.
Larita said this ninja used my $30 on his Nautica shirt.
So look, man, that totally just took my thought.
My last statement was I can't think of a piece of equipment that my church has bought.
My church,
and we got more equipment than any church in the Metro East.
Y'all do. Facts. Just in keyboards alone. But my church, out of the 30 years that we've been there, has never had to go without a musician.
Same here.
Had to go without a musician.
Same here.
And that is a piece of the thing that keeps them entitled.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I do have to take, if I want to take a vacation.
You get vacations?
I get vacations.
I've never had a vacation. Okay. That's not fair. I'm sorry. That's not fair. I've actually been given every third Sunday off in the last half of a year. But I've only taken one. That was the last year.
Right.
I've only taken one.
Now see, I get vacations, but I don't take vacations. I took my last vacation that I took was last January. And then I took this vacation again in this January.
That's when you came to BFAC, right?
No, I'm talking about 2019 January.
No, you took one in 20.
I know, but I'm saying the last one that I had prior to this one.
Oh, I got you.
Was in January of 2019. So then I did every Sunday after that, and then I came to BFAC.
Got you.
That was like my first week. I took 3 weeks consecutive.
Well, I only took the 1 week on the third Sunday last year, but technically I didn't because I showed up for my church yet because I felt nervous. I felt like things wouldn't go right
I know.
if I wasn't.
I feel bad if I'm all the way in Texas and I'm all like, man.
Oh no. Oh no. Let's get this clear. First of all, I went to church that morning and my sons and them played and I just sat back there and watched like, okay, they did good. And then by the time the choir finished singing, then I left. And my vacation was spent at Redeemer's House of Worship in Belleville. That's what you talking about, Texas? No, with no airplane tickets, with none of that. No, sir.
I drove to Texas. I drove to Texas. But anytime I take a vacation or if I'm gone and it happens to be on a Sunday, I feel bad.
Yeah. Good thing is now my sons are older and they're capable, man. My sons, my nephews, capable. So I feel better about that. I just think I feel out of place because you've been playing for the church for how long?
About 30 years.
Minister of music, how long?
That's another thing. And I can't talk about that.
What just answer how long you been the minister of music? Can you say that?
No.
You can't? Wow. Okay, so I've been the musician at my church for 33 years this year in like October, September, but just a couple of weeks ago made 25 years that I was the minister of music. Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't acknowledge me. They didn't acknowledge my 25 years. 25 years, man. And I was not acknowledged or remembered. Last Sunday in February, I became the minister of music at BFAC in 1995. And they didn't even acknowledge me, man.
I tell you what, I haven't had one. Now it's not that I don't want anybody to think that they want appreciation services or whatever.
Oh no.
I haven't had one.
Well,
and almost every musician that I know has at least had one appreciation service.
Yeah, I've had in my 33 years, I've had 2 and a concert. I worked the whole concert. I played, I produced, I did all the rehearsals. We throwing that completely out the door. No.
Right.
And I didn't get an appreciation offering. I didn't get offering or nothing for that. I did have 2. The very first one when I was 20, and Corey Fuller has a good question, then we're going to get out of here. My very first one, I was 23 years old. By that time, I had been a musician there for about 11 years, 12 years, and I got my first one. And all of the guests they invited, I didn't know for real any of them. So I sat there feeling like,
whose appreciation service is this?
And then
do I even know me at this point?
So technically, I've only had one because the next one was not an appreciation service by my church. My wife and Me Too Music threw me a birthday surprise service, and it just happened to be at my church. Back in 2007, I believe it was. 2007, 2008. No, Joel was born, so I think it was 2000. No, it wasn't. I think it was 2000. Had to be like 2007. Yeah, it was 2007. So, yeah, because Lauren was a baby. I knew when I was a baby. So, technically, my church has only ever thrown me one, and that was in 1999. 98, I'm sorry, 1998.
Well, actually, my church has never given me any of them.
Well, the one I had, I didn't know nobody.
That's funny.
Nobody. That's funny. And I still had to work.
I'll tell you what, they did add, they juked me on one year. They was all like, so who do you want? We're going to do you a birthday celebration and appreciation. I was like, okay. And it was like, so who do you want to name some musicians you want to come? And I don't really, know any musicians. So I'm all like, Jamel and them,
Then know thee to go they bell. Talking about that Jamel. Jamel Rayner.
And then I was all like, Michael Harper. Me and Mike was like real close back then. I was like, we still close now, but not but. Let me play a song.
Keep talking.
Yeah, but it was like, hey, so who you want to what's some kind of yada yada yada, it was nobody. I didn't know anybody for real. So that year it was all like, so do you want one? I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then they was all like, nah, they didn't do it. But this question I like, how do you deal with the unfair stigma to be identical to your fathers? That is a great question. And I think we addressed it already.
Not really.
It is.
Not really. We didn't really, but we just talked about that people look at us, but we didn't really address it. We talked about how it's expected that we become pastors.
But how do we deal with it?
But his question is a little different. He's talking about, how do you deal with the unfair stigma to be identical to your fathers? That's not really necessarily.
It's very stressful.
It's very stressful. Yeah, that's a different question.
It is very stressful, because when you deal with great men like my dad and Bishop Levi King, it's kind of you looking at these, huge shoes that you have to fill that people are expecting you to fill, and in your eyes, this man is a giant.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? From the time that I was a kid up until this very moment, I've looked at my dad as this is the closest thing to God. Is God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, Dad.
Yep.
And so now you also then you get the question that puts fear in your heart. So are you going to be just like your dad? Are you going to just like your dad?
Right.
And are you going to walk pews just like your dad? And I'm like, man, don't do that to me. I have been called to preach a long time ago, and I know it. But that was one of the things that stopped me from, I wouldn't say stopped me, but it kind of pushed me to not do it. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Coming from a preacher's side, I'm licensed. I'm a licensed minister, but I have never in my life preached in the pulpit, nor do I have the desire to. I look at Ephesians, I say this all the time. I look at Ephesians 4, and he gave to some apostles and some pastors and some prophets and some teachers and some evangelists, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, so we all come into the perfect man, into the knowledge of the stature thereof, something like that. I'm paraphrasing and misquoting the scripture, but I say this all the time. My father was called to be a pastor, and he was called to be a preacher. He understands his call. I know most people that I know, when they feel like they're called of God, they automatically assume pulpit ministry. And I think I have an advantage over you in a sense. First of all, because my father was minister of music, a BFAC, before I was. He was minister of music when I was little, and I don't remember those days. But then when our musician Geraldine Gallagher left in 87, he took over and was minister of music. He was pastor and minister of music from 87 to 95. So I had to come back behind him. So I think I walked through those, having to fill his shoes, things kind of early in 95 when I was still 19 years old when I became the minister of music. So I had to walk in his shoes in that aspect at a young age. So that was cool. So I think I learned how to deal with early. I think that's where I may have an advantage over you. I learned to deal with a little bit earlier the walking in his shoes part. And I understood early my calling is not pulpit ministry. I understand. I'm called to teach. I know that. I absolutely know my calling. I know what the Lord has spoken. I know what he's equipped me for. I can teach.
I knew my calling, and I used that same. I remember it just like it was yesterday. I used that same scripture to push it away. I used that very same scripture to push it away. Well, and like I'm doing what I'm called to do, and and I knew that I wasn't.
Well, to me, I personally don't feel the pressure as far as from the preaching side. I don't feel that pressure. And then too, you know what, Corey? Corey asked that question. The truth is, I think like me and like Steve, you can look at Steve. Steve wants to be his daddy. Look at the beard, look at the facial hair, look at everything. Steve has embraced the great. Steve wants to be his dad. But all jokes aside, Steve, let me ask you this question for real.
Okay.
Haven't you modeled a lot of things that you do after your father? That's what we do as sons, right?
Some of it is done purposefully, and most of it is done without me even being aware of it. Like I've seen video of myself sitting, and this is just me sitting down in the chair. And I'm looking at it. Boy, you sitting just like your daddy. Mm-hmm. Just like your daddy.
See, in my case, and you know what? Let me say this. I want to say this. I do want to say this openly. Along the same line as this. You know who made Steve? Tell me if you've had this experience. One thing that has made it really hard for me as a pastor's son is other people who get in my father's ear. So as the minister of music at my church, I tell this all the time. The minister of music or the lead musician at a church, for real, most of the time when pastors have issues with somebody in the church, if you have a pastor that has any level of insecurities, most of the time a lot of times it's not his assistant pastor. You would think somebody who doesn't know better would automatically assume, oh, his assistant pastor. No, most of the time it's the youth pastor or the minister of music. But for real, I would name minister of music first and then the youth pastor. And I say that because the minister of music is the one who ends up dealing with, ministers of music in most churches has the biggest ministry because we have the choir, we have praise team, we got band, we got children's choir, we got men's choir, we got women's, we got all of these different choirs and singing aggregations. So we're the ones that know children's birthdays. We're the ones that's been to children's basketball games the most, not to say the pastor hasn't, but we've been the most. We're the ones that every single week when somebody has an issue, they call us to say, I'm not going to make it. I'm late. My car broke down. Such and such is in the hospital. We tend to hear it first. And what it does, it actually builds a slight bit of a little following or a little something. You know what I'm saying? It creates this weird dynamic. So and we just act in our role. Let us say something about, oh yeah, no, this Sunday we're going to do this. And let one little hating member go back and make a comment. Well, your son said you're going to do this. This is what we're going to do in church. And then he almost feels forced to prove, no, I'm the pastor. I make these decisions. Right. And dumb people put weird dynamics. Have you ever dealt with that ever?
Yeah.
Boy, you better answer because you told me earlier you did. Now, I was trying to set you up to tell the truth.
I was all like, man, this dude is really setting it up for that conversation that we had earlier. This is almost too perfect of a volley. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I say yeah. It's been there, and you have to I get upset. Not with my dad, but with the manipulation.
From the other members.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And or not necessarily with the other members, but different areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's I feel like, okay, well, if I want to get what I want out of this situation, then I have to play to this. And okay, well then this is what, your son said and blah, 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 blah. So are we really going to do that, or are we going to do, what you said?
And the truth is, most of the time, all we're doing is just making sure things are moving. And while we're just doing our job, making sure things are moving, we get challenged. And that's when I show how humble and I show true humility. And it's like, oh, okay. It's like, what y'all talking about? What's the big deal? I'm only making decisions when I'm supposed to. And then when I'm challenged on it, it's like, oh, okay. I'm just making sure something happens. But it's always that ignorant person who tries to throw that wedge, sow that seed of discord between the Father and the Son. If y'all don't know that's real, that is a gazillion percent
real deal Holyfield.
Now that's for real. You have members in the church that every opportunity they get, every chance they get, they try to throw a wedge between the Father and the Son, the pastor and the musician. And don't let the Son
that's why I said pastor. I'm not answering the whole minister of music thing.
I got you. Well, I'm done addressing stuff tonight. Are you? Anybody else got any questions out there? I thank everybody who joined us in this conversation tonight, man. This really helped me. Steve, man, real talk, man, you really helped me to see things from a different perspective tonight concerning my own father and how he dealt with us, and how I can't say I directly blame him, but I blame how I was brought up on now how I treat my children open. I can never praise. I never feel like I can praise and openly embrace, in a sense, my children in ministry just because of the trauma, man, that I've had. But I thank you too for bringing some things to light for me tonight that helped me to see things slightly different, man. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate that.
Dude, this was awesome.
Give me one.
This was an awesome this is an awesome experience. I'm glad I thought about doing this, man. I'm telling you, when you own it, you own. You know what I'm saying? And I was on it today. I was all like, brother too. I think that we should do a segment.
Brother too.
I think we should do a segment. But no, number one, I love talking to you. I love talking to you, and you got awesome knowledge. Like I always told you earlier today, you have a way to impart knowledge that is like second to none. You're a very smart man. And you're not egotistic. I know a lot of people think that let me say this. When I first heard of Too, I was all like, dude, this dude is too big. He is like the hugest dude that, in St. Louis or whatever. So I bet you he's got like,
you talking about fat? I'm fat? Complex. Is that what you saying? Fat?
Huh?
You talking about big?
Now you are. You weren't. This is when you were skinny.
Oh man.
No, but I was thinking, man, this dude.
Shots fired.
This dude probably had the biggest ego in the world, and I saw you out, and I couldn't speak to you. I felt like I wasn't gonna speak to you, and then like you invited me to your radio station at the church, and I was like, "Who invited me to the radio station?"
That's when Daz was there.
And when,
was Daz there?
Yes, Daz was there, and I came there, and y'all made fun of my pants.
Me, Don, and Alvin. Yep.
No, you. You. And then that, but before like the show and everything, you showed me that you was like, "Hey, dude, I'm this real dude. I just like to have fun. We here, we want you to come in and just, be comfortable and yada yada yada. Do you need anything?" I was like, man, this dude, he kind of real. And like when we got to the city, and we kind of built up a relationship in between there. But when we got to the city, it was like, all right, I really can see this dude as being a genuine dude. And every conversation that we have and have had since then, I've learned so much from you, whether it's something technical or whether it's something spiritual. I've learned a lot from you, and I appreciate you wholeheartedly.
Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.
Love you. Thank all of y'all who joined. Man, everybody who joined in this conversation really helped. Really, really helped. Pastor Ty, my brother, my boy, Pastor Tyrone.
Facts, Tamika.
Thank you to Pam. Thank you to Tamika. Thank you to Raquel. Thank you to, man, I didn't want to start naming. Just thank you, everybody who joined. My sister Joy. Man, my sister Joy never joins the chats on my conversation, man. Never. So
look at me bringing family together.
Yeah, man, you done brought family together. You Will Smith.
Right.
You done brought Biggie's and Tupac mamas together, but
talking about when the light skin linked up.
So thank y'all, everybody. This was great. I really did learn a lot, and this was my piece of therapy. This was.
Yeah, we was only supposed to be on here for 30 minutes.
Yeah, but you got me to crying and carrying on live.
Right, you was on the phone telling D, yeah, we only gonna be on here for 30 minutes. You know, then we gonna sit down and watch Bad Boys.
She's still upstairs waiting on me so we can watch Bad Boys.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna go off with some music, y'all, and I want to play something that it's brand new from. How you just gonna tell me what to play? I was setting it.
My jam right
I was
there.
setting it up with a nice testimony.
I like the banjo. That was nice.
I'm trying to see if I even have it. I do have it in here. Okay, I'll play Tamika. Man, I play Tamika.
Yeah, that's my joint.
This is always there. This is not what I was gonna play, but I play Tamika for
This was what when you asked me what I wanted to hear, I was gonna say this.
You just gonna talk over the intro? What you saying? Say it, go.
No, I'm saying when we were deciding on if you had one song you wanted to hear, what would it be? And I was all like, are you talking about my song or any song? And you said your song. Because if it wasn't gonna be my song, I was gonna say Tamika Fogarty.
I got
always
you.
there.
Always there, y'all. My little sister, Tamika Fogarty. Hey, Steve, I've been wanting to tell you all night. I just wanted you to go through the whole stream with it, but you got a booger right there in your right nostril. That's my brother, y'all. That's my boy. Ain't no booger, man. Why you clap like that? Stop!
Through the storm and the rain, you still always there. When I had no friends with you, always there. God, I had no peace within, but you were always there.
I want to thank everybody who donated to us tonight. Well, they didn't donate to us, me and Steve. They donated to me for music.
Where's my cut?
Thank y'all for all your donations. Anybody who wants to donate, you see the information on the screen. We love y'all. Thank you. I got you, Pam.
You said hello, you are with me.
That's my point right there.
To protect me, and then Lord, I believe. But when the storm comes, it makes it hard to see. You
got one right here, baby. That's nice.
I'll never help me say. You said hello, you are with me, and you'll be right there. Yeah.
Her CD cover look better than yours.
My single is gonna be looking better than hers.
It's gonna be R&B, ain't it?
Listen.
Nah, that's the third one.
Does anybody know that God is? Anybody know my God has been? Yeah. My God is Jehovah Jireh. Hey, my God has been an awesome provider.
Where the?
Listen, he's there through your thick and your thin. Yeah, my God has proved to be my very best friend. Oh, and somebody said he was there for Job. Even when no Job, he felt so
play air drums better than you. Let's have an air drum contest.
Whole time you didn't know the battle of victory was already won. Oh, he's down for your ups and your downs.
I'm killing you, dog.
Promises us that he will always be around. Hey, he was half of the Hebrew boys, and I know he can do it for you because he did it before. So I say now to him who will always keep me.
You hear that?
Now unto him who will never leave me.
Man, I'm tired.
You said that
I know.
I would be
I bet you I can worship better than you.
there to protect me. And that Lord,
Now you got to put the ugly face on.
I can't do that. You good at that though. The ugly face.
What you mean? Give yourself a little bit more credit, too.
You said I'm with you, my child. I'll never leave. Will y'all help me sing that? Do you know it? Say, you said that you are with me. Come on, I hear you say it.
Man, this song is so long. You got 2 songs. I'll tell you, boy. If you want a producer that'll make your song at least about 6-7 minutes.
You said I'm with you, my child. Ooh, never leave me. No, you with me, God. My child, I'll never leave. You said I'm
Love y'all.
with you,
Thank you for these donations,
my
y'all.
child, I'll never leave.
Love y'all. Good night. And I absolutely cannot end this show without playing this one more time. Pastor David Hawkins, new single.
Okay, here we go. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 That's it. That's it. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
One of his musicians did, Ed Thomas. Tink! Tink, I love you,
Talk
Tink.
to y'all later.
Call me tonight, Tink.
Period.
Call me right now,
for me.
Tink. I love you, Tink.
Done.
Good
Change
night,
keys
y'all.
like 4 times.
Love y'all. Call me Tink. I love you. Pastor Ty, Sean Tate, my brothers. Pastor Ty ain't talked to you this week. Love you, man. Tamika, love you. Auntie Diane, I love you. Love everybody.
Love y'all, man.
How you end the show? All right here.
It's Wake Up St. Louis. Me Too Music Morning Show.
Yeah.